Welcome to another retro shelf video, and time to unbox another book. We got inside here, and it's not just any book. This is my new book. This is C64 Dreams. And it's funded on Kickstarter in April 2025. And with the Kickstarter edition is Fusion 64 Reloaded. So we'll have a look at that later, but we'll concentrate on the main book for now. So, celebrating the most excellent games in the Commodore 64's commercial lifetime, Andrew Fisher brings you the finest games of the Commodore 64, released between 1982 and 1994. From timeless classics such as Uranium and Power Droid to hardware-stretching feats like Turrican and Driller. From amazing arcade conversions such as Bionic Commando to licensed hits, including Platoon and The Untouchables. These are the best games the hardware had to offer and that remain incredibly playable today. So as you can see, it follows ZX Nightmares and ZX Dreams by Graham Mason. I'm extremely grateful for letting me do this. Crash Legacy, the Zap Legacy is on the way. A Graph Gold story. And you can see this is a signed copy. I must say a big thank you to Ben Honebone, who took over from Steve Day on the layout, and Ben, Melanie Honebone and Ian Osborne for their help proofreading. And the foreword. I'm honoured to have Andrew Braybrook write the foreword for this book. So thanks to Andrew, and obviously thanks for all the great games. And then, as before, we split the book into a series of chapters, as we'll see shortly. My introduction, and then the first chapter, Amazing Arcade, the cream of Commodore coin-op conversions. So we have Arkanoid, Bionic Commando, Bobble Bobble, Boggy Boy, Commando, Ghouls and Ghosts, and each one has a short summary of the game, bits about how it was created, sequels, follow-ups, and then the critical response from Zap 64 and others. Green Beret, Hyper Sports, Rainbow Islands, R-Type, and Wizard of War. And then Brilliant Budget, all the fun at a fraction of the price. This selection of games came from the Game Base 64 Top 100, the Lemon 64 Top 100, and the best games as they reviewed in Zap 64. And as mentioned, it does cover 82 to 94, hoping to do another volume with games since Commodore's bankruptcy. So, CJ's Elephant Antics, Kickstart 2, Master of Magic, Park Patrol, Slamball, Sport, Tetris, and this is how I got it on the budget, re-released by Mastertronic, Thrust, and Zolix, and one of my personal favourite games of all time, Zybex. So then lovely licenses, Batman the Movie, BC's Quest for Tires and BC2 Grok's Revenge, the classic Bruce Lee, Buck Rogers' Countdown to Doomsday, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, an incredibly clever game based on the band, designed by Denton Designs, superb music by Fred Gray, the classic Ghostbusters, one of the first C64 games I ever played, from the bouncing ball on the title screen with the lyrics, to the equipment screen, to the alerts, to roaming the streets, picking up the ghosts. Great game. Neuromancer, Platoon, when Ocean really first nailed the idea of multiple scenes to portray a film. Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Robocop, Samurai Warrior, The Battles of Usagi Yojimbo, Spy vs. Spy, The Untouchables, superbly atmospheric game, and into superb sports, the gold medals and golden goals galore. So we have California Games, M&U's International Soccer, IK Plus, and like the original book, small sprites carried over to add to the layout. Pit Stop 2, got some racing games in there too, Revs Plus, Skate or Die, brilliant game on the Commodore 64, amazing Rob Hubbard music. Stunt Car Racer, Jeff Cameron's in here more than once. Some games too. Micropro Soccer. So many good memories playing that game. And of course the action replay. Tracksuit Manager. Now I chose that over Football Manager. Personally, I think this is a lot more fun game. And you're playing the nations. You're managing a nation rather than an individual team. The very clever text commentary. Way of the Exploding Fist. Winter Games. World Class Leaderboard. One of the best golf games on the C64. One of the best golf games until the PC Lynx series came on from the same team. Outstanding originals. So these are clever concepts and intriguing ideas. Airborne Ranger. Alter Ego, where you have to make decisions and live a life. Archon, The Light in the Dark, which is more than just chess. Aztec Challenge, representing Paul Norman's work. Blue Max, very early hit, still very playable. Bomboozle from David Bishop and Tony Crowther. The isometric view is superb. Bounder, smooth parallax graphics. Castles of Dr. Creep, very inventive. Cosmic Causeway, follow up to Trailblazer, amazing 3D effect. Creatures and Creatures 2. The original game is great with the torture screens and the long levels. The sequel adds just so many different ideas. The trampoline bonus game, the demon screens, swimming between islands. Driller. Now, yes, it's slow, but that slowness gives you a sense of wonder, a sense of exploration. And being precise where you place the drilling rigs is then even more key. Amazing Mac Ray tune. The Dylon, one of Lucasfilm's brilliant 3D games. Elite, David Braben, Ian Bell, whole universe in a computer. Entombed, Star of Kanafa is one of the first games I played. The sequel has the Egyptian atmosphere, amazing. Exile, physics engineers before anyone talked about Half-Life or similar. Wind, gravity, water, fire, creatures' behaviour. First Samurai, beautifully polished game. Flimbo's Quest, great fun, best played on the C64 Game System cartridge. Hunter's Moon from Martin Walker, amazing game. Shoot 'em up, puzzle game, strategy game, exploration, so much in the one game. Impossible Mission, that superb electronic speech, the sense of exploring a base, the procedural generation that makes it different each time you play, classic. Iridis Alpha, probably the most divisive game in the book, I would say. Yes, it's Minter. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, it's a blast. But you really have to think as you play. Laser Squad from Julian Gollop are just superb. So many hours put into that. Lemmings, how did they do it? Amazing conversion. Everything's in there. Lots of Lemmings on screen at once. Truly excellent. Little Computer People, David Crane. Long before The Sims, long before other virtual doll houses. This is just amazing. When he knocks on the screen and gabbles to you in his little language. So much fun. Mercenary Escape from Targ. Paul Wokes, 3D, huge city to explore. Add-on city. Mule, Daniel Bontenberry, multiplayer game, strategic board game almost, great fun to play. Nebulous, the stunning graphics in Nebulous. The whole tower rotates as you walk around it and climb up. And then the underwater bonus level is just beautifully done too. Classic game known under various other names, Tower Toppler Castellian. Paradroid from Andrew Braybrook, my favourite, one of my favourite games of all time. Just a superb atmosphere as you control the robots. Portal, an interactive novel. Probably been forgotten a bit now, but worth including here. Project Firestart. This is a very early survival horror game. Incredible how they packed so much into the game. There's a direct lineage between this and the Dead Space games. So that's an interesting one to look at. Scarabaeus, another early hit. Again, it's all about the atmosphere, moving around the tomb, trying to find the ghost, trying to solve the puzzles. The Sentinel, Jeff Crammond again. And boy, do I love this game. 10,000 Worlds, 3D graphics, strategic, chess-like. Again, it may move slow because it's an 8-bit computer, but the world is so well realised. Shoot 'em up construction tip from Sensible Software. Amazing. It's done so much for the 64, so many great games made with it. Now enhanced, obviously, but back then, even then, there were new games being made with it that were very good fun to play. Space Taxi. John F. Kutcher. I had the fortune to interview him for Retro Gamer. Found out how he made the levels. Great game. Spin Dizzy from Paul Shirley. Isometric 3D. Excellent. Supremacy. Just amazing strategy game. Check out the 30th anniversary edition by XS, which adds even more graphics and a new intro and all sorts. Iridium. Andrew Braybrook's other classic, well-made shoot 'em up, fast, gorgeous graphics, playable, and the game I often pick as my best of all time, Whizball, sensible software, painting by numbers plus progressive shoot 'em up plus Martin Galway's soundtrack. I mean, just so much to like. And then the last chapter, Simply Wonderful, the greatest games you should be playing. So we have Armalite from Thalamus and Cyberdyne Systems, top-notch shoot 'em up. Barbarian, the Ultimate Warrior, excellent. I mean, the late Richard Joseph produced a brilliant Conan-like soundtrack. A lot of fun, that game. The Bard's Tale, Tales of the Unknown Volume 1, classic RPG, started the series, still worth playing. I played it from cassette. Boulder Dash Construction Kit, the pinnacle of the series on the 64 after the first 3 games. A whole new Boulder Dash 4 game, plus the construction kit to make your own. Choplifter, very early hit. Chuck Rock, didn't think it was possible on the 64. Great graphics, although it gets a bit sparse later, but all the gameplay's in there. The RPG I probably put most time into, Curse the Azure Bonds, from the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games from SSI. Defender of the Crown, another one. How did they do that? Great graphics. Drop Zone, the late Archer McLean, absolutely nailed it. It is Defender on the C64 with extra features. Enforcer, Full Metal Mega Blaster from Manfred Trends, who did the Turrican games. One you should play. The Great Giana Sisters, obviously controversial for its similarities to Super Mario Brothers, but I've always maintained it's different. There's various other things, particularly in later levels, that are different, that are worth looking at. If you can play it, play it. And of course, it's now even ended up on the Nintendo machines. Guild of Thieves, stunning text adventure with those great graphics. Gunship, put so many hours into this one as well. Head Over Heels, love it, love the sense of humour, love the graphics. Hero, Helicopter Emergency Rescue Operation. Yes, it's Atari roots, but great game. Jumpman, Randy Glover trying to recreate gameplay of Donkey Kong, also an Atari hit. Catechist from Manfred Trends, later known as Daenerys. Yes, there was a lawsuit, but they also did the official R-Type, as you'll read in the book. Last Ninja 2, this is my favourite of the series, just shades out the original because of the New York setting. Load Runner, again, another early hit with the construction kit to make your own screens. The classic point-and-click Maniac Mansion. Mayhem in Monsterland, which brought down the curtain on the Commodore 64, really. Mega Apocalypse, the update of Crazy Comets, sampled sound, Rob Hubbard soundtrack, bigger, better graphics, bigger, better gameplay. Monty on the Run, classic platform action. Myth History in the Making, very atmospheric, amazing animation. Nobby the Aardvark, that's a personal choice really, but still a great game, and the presentation is beautiful. Sid Meier's Pirates, parts of the game written in BASIC, but such a huge quest, and has a very loyal fan base. Raid Over Moscow from Bruce and Roger Carver. Beachhead, probably better known, but Raid Over Moscow even talked about in the Finnish Parliament. Stop nuclear missile attacks on the US by attacking the Soviet Union. Escape Ghost, Level 9's last 8-bit text adventure, where you control a ghost and have to solve their own murder. Space Rogue, by Origin, filled 3D graphics, so it's like Elite, but with much better graphics. There's even a hidden arcade game you can play. Clever. Strike Fleet, strategic game from the former Lucasfilm designers. Control a whole fleet of vehicles in trouble spots around the world. Good fun. Super Pipeline 2 from UK's very original company Task Set. Andy Walker and Tony Gibson. And it's interesting. It's one of the early games I played. It's one that stayed with me. Great sense of humour. Times of Law from Origin. again, which is a role-playing game, but it's designed to be played with a joystick. It is good fun. 3 different characters to try as well. Turbocharged, Chris Butler and System 3. Amazing. Really fast-moving game. Beautiful side graphics. Chris Butler at his best. Turrican from Rainbow Arts and Manfred Trends. Oh, it just blew me away the first time I played it. Those huge bosses, the huge levels, the variety of ways you can tackle it. And of course Turrican 2 just then pushed all the lamps to 11. Bigger bosses, more music in the game, more horizontally scrolling shoot 'em up sections. Ultima 4 Quest of the Avatar. Mainly recommended this one for the remastered version, the recent version with extra graphics. Still a huge in-depth role-playing game, and the interesting part at the start where you choose your characteristics rather than rolling dice for numbers. Wasteland from Electronic Arts and Interplay, obviously the follow-up to the Bard's Tale, but with the sci-fi post-apocalyptic setting, and without Wasteland there would be no Fallout series. Zap McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, we're back to Lucasfilm, another superb point-and-click adventure. Again, it's all about the humour. The acknowledgements and thank yous, my author profile. So that's the book. Just a quick look then at Fusion 64 Reloaded. It was originally part of another Kickstarter and it's now updated for this Kickstarter, so I've got some little bits in there as well. So Ben Honebone editing, my hardware guide, Sid Tunes, Fusion Loves Cliffhanger, great game, some homebrew heroes, The Legacy of Zap and the Drop Zone cover, Rock and Wrestle, Hardware Heaven or Hell, Little Computer People, awful artwork, more recent homebrew, the Mega 65 corner, Fusion Loves Z, Games Chart Flashback, be about Fusion and that moment when you meet the fist. So that's a nice little extra. Unfortunately, none of those left now. Although you might be able to find, still at the moment, there are signed copies of the book with Fusion 64 Reloaded as a special bundle on fusionretrobooks.com. When those are sold out, there'll be just standard editions of the book without signature. But in the near future, I will be offering signed copies of C64 Dreams and C64 Nightmares from c64books.co.uk. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye on social media, so C64 Books. And I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. I ended up talking about the games a bit more than I was going to, but I hope you can see the passion I've put into this book. I hope if you've backed it on the Kickstarter and you've received yours, you're enjoying it. If you haven't, are ways to get hold of it, and hope you enjoyed the video. So stay tuned to the channel for more unboxing, retro shelf, merch stand and more, and keep it Commodore 64.